Dr. Newman, we are going to continue a little bit with that topic of a mindset.
Yes, awesome.
And last week we had Richard with us. We sent him our love. He's somewhere. He's busy today. So we want to continue with everything is a mindset. Health is a mindset, but paradise?
Yeah, this is something we were talking about throughout the week. You know, there's such a spectrum of well-being and fulfillment. Some of it is very, very tight and doesn't feel very good at all, and yet there are nutrients in there that you need. And some of it is like a paradise. You know, there are just as a side note, there are many places in the world that seem to be very, very, very challenging and difficult and treacherous. One particular area is in the Himalayas. There's a whole valley called the Pamako Valley, which is a sacred valley between all of these mountains in the Himalayas, and there are temples hidden there and so on. And, you know, many famous saints and yogis of ages past travel these hills and endure all kinds of hardship in the mountains, snow and ice. There are parts of the jungle where it's literally raining leeches onto your body, right? That doesn't sound like paradise at all. And yet, for them, inside those challenges, it's like a crucible, a pressure cooker. So many nutrients are there for them to grow. All kinds of spiritual transformations happen when we're under pressure. And they see a paradise. Other people look and see treacherous, but to their eyes is a paradise, because within all of that is this opportunity to grow personally and spiritually. If we're not under pressure, we don't grow that much. You know, this is the reason people go to the gym, right? You can't go to the gym once and expect results. You have to go in day after day. So about health and mindset, a lot of it regards changing your point of view or changing your perception as to where wellness and well-being can be found, and the impact that my thoughts and my beliefs have on my own health and my own well-being.
And it's so important what you say, because that particular region has a lot of energy. They've said that the Kundalini of the planet used to be there in the Himalayas, but it's because sometimes we don't know what's hidden. Wherever we are, we just feel our perception is only 5 senses. But it seems the promise is that we're going to be increasing with time, this new era, more sensitivity, even develop more senses to really grasp what's the reality that we're in. No, so there's always, let's say, a blessing, a hidden blessing in everything, even if we feel that we're in the midst of chaos like we are experiencing right now.
Absolutely. Yeah, this is the time for us all to grow the most. On one hand, during this the pandemic, especially in the early days, it was downtime. But downtime doesn't have to be bad. Sometimes the connotation with a downtime can be bad, but downtime can be like a nap or a weekend or winter. You know, there's a time for all of the energies to become quieter and still and to be refreshed and rejuvenated in that way. And then recalibrated and things bounce back. You take a nap, but then you come back. This might be, of course, a deep and long and arduous travel through a darker, not dark like bad, but deeper downtime. But as things come back online, people are connecting with each other and with themselves in a way that they didn't before. And sure, the world right now seems very polarized, and it is, but in the midst of that, something new is emerging. And I'm sure that something new, beautiful is emerging. The way that we can choose to go after what freedoms, empowerments we have available to us, how we can choose to do this or that, to take charge of one's own health and well-being. And a lot of it does start here in our mind. We, of course, gather data and all kinds of information this way, but let's not risk making decisions only with our mind, because there's only limited data sets that are available here to ourselves conceptually and intellectually. if we make decisions here, it's just like an analogy I use is if you were to look through a keyhole and you see the world through that keyhole, you'll get some information, but after a while, we start to forget that there's all this other stuff out there. And it's very risky. If you're getting some information, hey, it's good, that piece might be very helpful, but it's limited by nature, and you might misperceive or misunderstand the bigger picture or the story behind that story or what impact it has for you. So we have to also engage our emotional brain. We have to feel about things. We have to allow ourselves to feel again. So important. We have to use our body brain. We have a gut sense about things, as Richard would always, he should be here for this part of the conversation, but our gut, our body knowingness about things, our intuition comes from our body. We have a sense and intuitive knowing too. And unless we onboard data and feelings and our sense, intuition about things as it lines up to the world we're in, we risk making very limited choices for ourselves and lining up to the world we're in ways that might not be geared toward our best interests,
So in a way, look, I joined you in the space, the journey. In a way, all these confinement and all these situation we're in is pushing us to ask the fundamental questions of existence. We are like pushed to a point where we say, what is reality? Because there's actually people talking the reality with all the arguments, like the only one, and then you find an opposite reality, and then you find another one and another one. So the question is, how to hang on to something real? How would you, somebody who's asking today this question for some reason they're listening to this, how do I really, stick to something that is not going to let me down in a way?
Such a great question. I'm so glad we're talking about this.
And I love it because I get to practice my English. That's also why I love it talking to you.
No, claro que sí. En el mundo, Anyway, there are different threads of information coming our way. One thing we've all learned from The Social Dilemma, which is a great documentary about the impact that social media is having on ourselves and the world we're in. It's slightly dated now, but no less impactful. One of the many things I took away from this is the fact that everybody is receiving their own unique news feed, their own unique stream of information that's tailored to them and their preferences. And unless you seek information outside of your norm, you're not going to get the divergent opinions that you can weigh with common sense, research, have healthy debates. Not that we have to change each other's mind, but let's go into a conversation where we can hear each other with an open mind and bring in, different points of view that we wouldn't normally be exposed to when we're following just that one thread, whatever that may be. So part of it is that we want to broaden our scope so we get as much information as possible and then make a decision as it pertains to what's best for you. And this is the part of reliable that I want to focus on. It's the you. The one thing that you can trust in this world is yourself, is you and your experience of self. On a deeper level, this might take us on a rabbit hole, but most of us, we're kind of, this is just the nature of the beast. We're in a certain world and we drift for a while, and many people, for various reasons, aren't putting down the roots that they need to grow a very functional, sophisticated, and articulate character for their person, for their being. And it's that beingness, that inner part of your true self, that part of who you are, you can always trust in. The voice of your intuition through your heart, all of that comes from your true self. And you can trust that part of who you are more than anything that you're experiencing in the world around you. You are the number one reliable thing in your world.
So we are live right now, coming to you, talking with Dr. Justin Newman. He's a doctor in acupuncture, alternative medicine, different practices, who, along with Richard Rocha, have an operation here in South Florida. It's called INVITAS. You guys are located in South Miami, and this may sound unconnected, but it's really, really connected with any kind of condition you might be experiencing. So you want to call and visit Dr. Newman, Richard Rocha, and their team, because right now it's a numerous team. You have massage therapists, you have hypnotherapy, you have different alternatives for anyone who's looking to find for answers on the origins. Because it's all about that, about looking for the real origin of a illness.
We have to look, and to be honest, it doesn't matter to me what brings people through the door. Everyone's on their own unique journey. But whether you come into the office with cancer, fertility problems, digestive issues, you name it, we have to talk about connecting to yourself. We have to talk about creating a little bit of space for yourself to heal in, among other things that we'll do with some space or some room. And we have to start to adjust in whatever way we can our mindset again, going back to what we're talking about. Many people are holding on to some things so tightly. Some things, obviously, we have regrets and even worse, resentments and other things that stress us out, and we're holding on to so many things. All of these stressors make us ill. We need some stress, motivate us, get us out of bed. But stress and pressure, if it's not managed well, can and will create illness. As Richard has brought up before, disease is dis-ease. When you're not comfortable within your own self, the body starts to is compromised in how it's working. Stress, for example, alone, it raises cortisol levels. And when your cortisol levels are high, you can't metabolize sugars. You can become more prone to diabetes from a history of chronic stress. People get ulcers. We know about this. The digestive issues and stress are classically intertwined. Stress also leads to the formation of arteriosclerosis by leaving calcium to deposit on your arteries, walls, and build up inflammation levels, which is the real problem with chronic illness, is inflammation. So whatever the case in point may be, we have to work with our mindset and create a little bit of space in our mind, a little bit of space and room in our body, a little bit of room in the situations we find ourselves in, so that even if you are working through a chronic illness, you've got a little bit of room to flex. You've got a little bit of room to onboard more information that you may not have been able to fit before. And our team of specialists is here to guide people through that process. We are therapists and doctors, certified, licensed, but we function quite often as I mentioned, a guide, as a coach. No one knows you better than you know yourself. But how much of that knowingness in yourself, I say self because our true self is often hidden inside characters, inside a person with characters, masks, different roles we play, and we lose touch with who we really are. How are we listening to what's not just obvious, but what's subtle? What don't we know about the things we're thinking or feeling or lining up to? And we have to shed some light on that. It's very, very important.
Sometimes the solution to any problem is realizing that the one who is forcing or creating the problem is just a character. Mm-hmm. A character we choose to portray in order to maintain maybe a set of beliefs, of convictions that we may have, but it's really a character. And once realized, it's nothing but a mask. Mm-hmm. And with that mask fall, maybe we end at the door of something really, really wonderful about to happen.
Oh, absolutely.
A big release. And that happened to me this week. That's why I'm saying it. So that maybe that character is what's keeping you maybe sick or tense or stressed with resistance. You were just mentioning the example of the monkey. You want to tell us about that?
Sure.
The resistance.
Yeah, the one way they catch monkeys is they put fruit into a basket, right? And the monkey can reach in and grab the fruit, but they won't let go. They're stuck in the basket because they just won't let go of that fruit. And how alike are we in our beliefs to hold on to something so tightly and not loosen our grip even a little bit to let in more information and consider what's really, really going on there. Many of us hold on to things so tightly without ever questioning, how did I learn this? Is that relevant or true for me? I inherited this story from my parents, my teachers, or others, generationally perhaps. But was it true then? Or was that understanding based on a misperception and passed on as if it's true? And even if it is true, is it just relatively true for them? Is it true or even applicable for me today? Because I'm a different person having a unique experience in the world. And this is part of what we come back to, is that aspect of experience, awareness, our sense of concept and awareness. It's a wonderful thing if it's applied in the right manner, because awareness, like our mindsets too, can take us in an infinite variety of directions. You can imagine what it was like to live 1,000 years ago, what it's like to live on the moon, or here with us floating in space like we're doing right now. The mind is unlimited, but your experience that you're having as an embodied being in this vehicle of mind and a body is really where it's at. How do I keep my experience and awareness connected? How do my awareness of the experience I'm having as authentically and with as much availability as possible maintain connected? How is my experience informing my awareness and vice versa? If my awareness starts to drift about, did I leave the stove on, or what did I do last week with my friends after playing golf, or whatever it is, I'm not in my experience anymore. And this is one of the biggest problems we're finding in the world today, is many of us are staying here just too mental. And we're not really grounded in our experience. We're, for whatever reason, unsure, we don't know, we're scared to put down roots, to put down deep, deep roots. And yes, we were talking about characters. Your true self is, well, let's just call it a soul for now, but this is a whole nother conversation. Who you really are is an energetic being that doesn't have the same limitations as the person, as the body, right? We're not our body, for example. But that soul becomes embodied in this vehicle of a person with a mind and with a body and other aspects that come from the creation. I don't want to sound too woo-woo here, but you are not your body. You are not the person that you travel in. The person is just the vehicle. And that person is going to manifest itself as different characters as it lines up to the world you're in. Some characters we need. There's a mom or a dad character. There's a character that's a chef or a pilot. There's a character who's hanging out at the beach with his friends, the friend character. Different characters. Character is great for that situation if the character is appropriate for that situation, like a police sergeant. Awesome, but you don't want to be the sergeant at home. That's not going to work very well, right? You can be the best golfer, but it's not a one-size-fits-all kind of thing. You got to find a way to recalibrate and manifest, invite, allow the finest, most functional, capable character for the situation that's being presented to you. Number one. And number two, you want to have enough room for that character so it can manifest with all of the capacity and characteristics, attributes that it needs to do that thing well, like the superhero of what that is. For example, the head chef can wash dishes, right? But the dishwasher can't be the head chef. It doesn't work that way. Or one of my clients, quick story, he's a manager of a huge part of our county. I have to leave that out for HIPAA reasons. But he manages a big team. And he's got this manager character that he calls Mr. Communicator. Great character. He's got these skills. He has the team. He's doing all kinds of wonderful things until his supervisors leave temporarily. And he now has to fit into a bigger world. That character is getting stuck. Mr. Communicator was great at that level of functioning. But now it's a bigger world he's stepping into, and he's finding, as we're working together, part of the work that we do at INVITAS, is that Mr. Communicator is now becoming Mr. Ambassador, right? It's like communication, but finer. It's a finer level of, or another dimension of what's available there. And if we hold on to that manager, communicator character, because it's our life raft, we're going to struggle when we step into that world that has more moving parts than we're accustomed to. You can flex for an hour, but you can't flex for a week or a year. Eventually, you have to create space and invite that next level of functioning to manifest itself, right? Maybe, and there are certain techniques and tips that we suggest, is we can talk to that future version, that finer version of our character and say, hey, Mr. Communicator is stepping into a fuller world. Tell me something about the evolution of this character that I don't know. What is the language that I might use at that level? How do I present myself? Are there attributes that I have not onboarded yet? Right? We have to have those conversations with those characters so that they're allowed to evolve and our true self can ride the vehicles and manifest in its glory, really, and be the superhero of what that is. Also, the situations that we're in. He's stepping into a world, as we often do in our lives. We're jumping in with both feet sometimes and don't even know what we're getting into. If we have some space and the luxury of a little time and space, we can talk to that situation. What's coming up for me? Oh, I'm stepping into that world? Great. Hey, situation. We're going to personify it. Like, sit it down in front of you. Hey, situation. Tell me about yourself. What's not obvious here?
I was telling you that this is very similar to what they do in family constellations, because they bring, first it was about family members, and it's like the basics of constellating. But then they discovered you could do it with a particular situation. It could be an illness. It could be a job. It could be, I don't know, even your car. Something that has gaining attention, that it's becoming a nuisance or something. You wanna address it and put it, place it in front of you, and be able to get from that the whole picture, like the whole understanding.
Oh, yes.
So that's a way of constellating whatever is around you, because we act as planets the way we are right now. It's all cosmic.
Yes.
Corpse. And we are interacting not just with people. Stars have taught us, they have an influence in us. So the same thing with our worries.
Absolutely.
Our concerns.
Oh, yes.
They become, remember, you give it enough power and they become what they call the egregor.
Yeah, like a
to
monster.
give life. Sometimes in other places, they call it the zeitgeist.
Oh, so a spirit of the times or spirit of the
It gains so
moment.
much attention and energy from a certain community. Right now, it's from the whole planet.
Mm-hmm.
It acquires life.
Yes.
Has a mind of its own.
Yep. At that level.
We have fueled it with our what? With our fear. No?
That's right. That's right.
So it's all about being able to put it somewhere outside and just ask the questions.
Yeah, for
What
sure.
do you want to teach me? What do I have to learn about this?
And staying open. So you can hear with your intuition what's coming back. This is where some people fall short in the world of prayer. Beautiful. But like yin and yang, we have to pray and put our intentions out there, but we have to also meditate, listen, and be receptive to what comes back. It's a conversation we're having with our Creator and with the creation. It's not a one-sided conversation. So in this sense, it's true. We want to have these conversations, but stay open, listening with your intuition, not the filter of your character. Listen with your heart, listen with your intuition, listen with your true self when you have conversations with situations that are manifesting, with your own, as you were saying, worries, with your own body. We often tell people, hey, you're having an issue with your stomach. Connect and talk to your stomach. Hey, stomach, I appreciate all the hard work you're doing for me, but I hear you, and I hear there's something that I'm missing that I could do to improve your functioning. Tell me a story, my stomach. What don't I know about what's happening here? And for a while, you'll get some information from your stomach, but we're finding also in being open to the other dimensions of what's available, the stomach might tell you, thanks for checking in with me, you could do this or that. But you should also talk to the gallbladder, and you should also talk to your pituitary gland or whatever, you know?
Why don't you guys get along?
Yeah, for sure.
Talk to each other.
There's a story behind the story, and the characters are going to miss it because they're limited by definition. They're great at that thing, hopefully, if they're allowed to develop. Otherwise, it's like putting a square peg in a round hole. Characters can force their way through, but it's uncomfortable. How can we make enough space to not only have these conversations, but to onboard the nutrients that are there within that struggle, right? Absorb them and utilize them so we can grow personally, professionally, and spiritually.
So we are really, really enjoying ourselves having this conversation with Dr. Justin Newman, who is a doctor in acupuncture. Just remind me, please, again, your practices located in southmiami, INVITAS, and where you can expect to find different services. Please
Absolutely.
Remind us.
The whole team of us, we're collaborating together, and my specialty is I'm a primary care doctor, but my specialty is holistic and functional medicine. Acupuncture is one of my specialties, yes. We do some nutritional counseling, meditation instruction. Richard's an EMT with advanced life support training, many years in the emergency room, but now regenerative medicine, biohacking. We do IV infusions. There's a nutritional program involved there. We have a mental health counselor and hypnotherapist. There are massage therapists who offer all kinds of different types of massage therapy. And you might come in working with just a massage therapist, let's say, if that's something familiar or approachable for you. But the whole team of us collaborates and puts a treatment plan together that's geared toward the whole person. The whole person.
Perfect. So we encourage you, dial that number, 305-663-5696, and just make your appointment or ask whatever the question you may have about what services are offered, or if you can get any guide in any way towards whatever it's happening. Because
don't wait.
Even an advice can help, can make a difference. So don't hesitate. Make that call.
Yeah, you took the words out of my mouth.
Yeah.
You don't have to be ready to jump into some kind of therapy. You can call or even text that number. We set up time for wellness and well-being assessments. We can just check in with each other. Conversation, it's free. And we can map out where you might go along your journey, what choices you might make, because we're empowering you. And sure, there might be coaching or therapy available, but we don't have to start there. Let's just have the conversation.
Excellent. And just like a quick look where you can find some of the, happy clients and people that go and attend your sessions. People have a great time. They have a blast with you and Richard. You can enjoy yourselves, get your IV infusion, all these sorts of things that are wonderful. People just can't get enough of your kindness, your attention. So there you are, Dr. Newman, helping people when they also attend events in the local South Florida area. You can always find them, especially in competitions with athletes and all these kind of sorts of things. Beautiful. There you have them, Richard and Dr. Newman. So we're happy. We thank you for coming again, Dr. Newman.
Thank you for having me.
And we can't wait for next Friday to keep on with this high level
I can't wait.
of spirituality, of awareness, and all these wonderful things that you bring every Friday here.
I appreciate it, that. And all of you people watching, thank you for tuning in. But your homework is to challenge yourselves to bring in at least one divergent point of view. Open your minds that much more to consider what has not been obvious for you up until now. And let's see what happens.
There you have it, the super duo, Richard and Justin. You can expect the wonderful things from INVITAS. Also proud members of IAAM, the International Association of Alternative and Ancient Medicine. That's all for now. My name is Kikeposada, and I hope to see you very, very soon. In the meantime, enjoy. Bye-bye.